everybody, welcome back to Myra's Mix. I am so happy to finally be back again. I have been involved in a little project that I've seen other people do on YouTube, and I was so excited about it I just had to try it myself. But my creativity time I steal in little pieces. So there were times when I had 15 minutes to work on it and times I had 30 minutes to work on it, and then I finally got to this pocket where I could actually have time to make a video. So I apologize you didn't actually get to see me create the skeleton, for lack of a better word. However, I thought you might enjoy being included in the decoration. I went ahead and started prepping everything, and I started to put it together, and I thought, well, you know, people might enjoy seeing this. But basically, I think I said it's an explosion box. This is the lid, and I'm not even going to reveal the top of the lid until later. But I will show you, I'll give you a sneak preview. I'm sure most of you or all of you have heard of an explosion box before. I love these. I got these at Michael's. They had them on a sale, and they're great for keeping your projects in order. And this, in case anybody's wondering, I love working on a tile, and I picked this up at one of our, it's like a store that sells leftovers from when they build houses for people, and it's cheap, 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 and I love the way it feels and looks, and it's easy to clean up, and if I mess it up, it's no big deal. Okay, so just to give you a little sneak peek, what this is it's a box. And this will be the top. And when someone takes the top off, it explodes. Okay, so, and this is my very first one, and I have a tendency to just kind of use things that I don't have other plans for. So I've got some plans for some of my more muted type Victorian cardstocks and papers and stuff. So I decided to use my bright colors that I had. Plus, an explosion box just screams excitement. So what's more exciting than bright colors, right? Right. Okay, my box has 3 inserts and the outside cover. And the outside cover, you start all of these pages or inserts in the skeleton start out with a 12 by 12. And the first one, you just mark it off in 4s. Now, I will tell you, I use the Martha Stewart scoreboard, so it's very important. When you set it on the scoreboard and you score it at 4, you have to turn your paper and score it at 4, turn your paper, score it at 4. And the reason you do this is because as you get into the insides, you're going to start changing where you're scoring it, and if you don't turn it each of the 4 sides, then it's not going to work out, because each one of these have a pocket. And as you can tell, if I can get them back together here, each one is a little smaller. So if you don't rotate it, then your center ones are not going to be the right size. So just, if you try this, definitely keep that in mind. I did have to adjust one of them before I found out, that's not working. And then as far as this goes, this is my little supply box. Now, I love to do Sudokus, and I started using when I finish it, I started using the papers to create things like patterns or scrappy stuff. So anyway, this is the heart that I used, and I just free-handed it. I cut a 4x4 because that's what that section was. And then I folded it in half diagonally, and I cut a heart out. And then I went through and I traced it on each one of the 4 corner squares and cut it out by freehand. Then when it came time to fix them back here, I decided they needed a little decoration. So I cut the same heart out again, but I didn't want to lose my first one because I don't think this will be the last one that I make. I decided to cut a second one out and then just trim it down. And here's even a third one if we wanted to go a little smaller. So those are my big expensive patterns for my heart. Ha ha ha. And you're kind of getting a look at the paper. Now the paper I used in this particular project, this is something I think I picked up at, I want to say Hobby Lobby, but and I really like this paper. You'll know that it's the Paper Studio is the brand name, and this particular pack is called the Basics No. 2. And these are all 6 by 12, and that was attractive to me because there's times when I only needed a half a sheet of paper. And I really liked the bright colors, and I knew that I had all these bright colored cardstocks. So I went ahead and got that. But I didn't want to use just that. And it is a really good quality paper. It's not real thin. This, on the other hand, is something I did pick up at Walmart. And it is a real thin paper, but it's full of beautiful things. And if any of you seen my squash book factory, then you've seen some of these pages before. This pad had 200 sheets in it, and I made 15 squash books using this paper. And I've worked on this, and look at all this paper I still have left. So it's been a good pad, and because it's not one of my precious, I don't mind experimenting with it. So that's kind of my go-to when I'm learning how to do something. So you'll see things like made out of that paper for a long time till it's gone probably when I'm learning. On the very bottom, this will be the bottom of the box, I didn't see any reason to put anything back there, but I did want to kind of reinforce it a little bit. So I did add a piece of white cardstock just to give it a little more strength. And of course the orange is cardstock, and these are papers. And I thought by the time we put papers on both sides and everything, this would be pretty sturdy. So let's get started on decorating this baby. Now on the first layer I decided to, and honestly guys, I just was picking this out as I go. So on the first one I decided to make a little pocket here, and I'm loving my punches, and I have plans to make a mini album. And so I'm very new to it. I haven't made one except for the little bitty, small ones. I did make one out of toilet paper tubes, and you can find that also on my website. But anyway, decided I'm practicing with my punches so I can get good at them, and I thought that would be a great place to put those. Then I decided that we needed tags or something to go in them. Then I decided behind the green it was just too plain. So then I found this paper in that 6 by 12 pad. Still thought it needed something. And I found this cute punch in my stash. And then I thought, well, I forgot to put anything around the hole of my tag. Well, I decided to take the little thing that came out of the punch and kind of wrap it around there and put a couple pieces of glue on it. And that's how that came about. So you can actually put a picture in here or just use it to slide them in. And then you've got the tag that you can use both sides on. All four of these are the same way. And before we go any further, we are going to go ahead and finish the front of this, and it will be done. Now my main box lid is going to be this paper. Isn't that fun? It looks like a bunch of ribbon streamers from a party, and I really like it. And again, I decided to incorporate this, but I thought it needs more. So what did I do? I found another punch in my stash. This time it's a heart, and I off-centered it. And what do you guys think about that? Isn't that cool? I hope I am in frame. Maybe that's a little bit better. I apologize if it hasn't been in frame all this time. Okay, I filled this up myself, but here's what it is. I love Eileen's tacky glue, but these little precision bottles have trouble pushing it out, and I need precision bottles. So what I do, and I hope Eileen's doesn't mind me telling this, I looked and looked for something that had measurements on it that I could actually work, but I mix water with my Eileen's, and actually, to be honest, when I first mixed this batch and put it up waiting to knead it, I put it in my bottle and it was way too watery. So guys, I don't have the exact ratio. If I had to guess, I would probably put 4 ounces of glue to plus 1 ounce of water. I think I had put in 3 ounces and 1 ounce of water with 3 ounces of glue, and I think it was too watery. So I took it up another ounce with glue and then put it back in the bottle, and that seemed to be fine. But I cut the nipple off of, this is a baby bottle from the dollar store, and I cut the nipple off of the rubber thing, but I left it on there as a seal so that it wouldn't dry out on me and the air would stay away from it. So sometimes some glues do have a tendency to mold when they're wet in something like this, but so far I've had really good luck doing this. And I don't ever want to fill it more than half full, because the whole reason behind this is I can shake the fire out of it and really incorporate that water so that it's smooth enough to come out of my precision. And I have really good luck with this. All of my squash books, I used a mixture of, it's mostly the glue. It's just enough water to get it to go through this little tip, because I gotta have it to come out of that little tip. I just do. Okay, so let's move all this over here so that we don't accidentally do anything we don't want to. And all we're doing right now is I'm going to just add some glue.
See, that is still kind of thick, but it's thin enough to come through my little hole there.
Oh yes, less messy for sure. And if my head's getting in the way, please forgive. It's still, Eileen's stuff dries really, I missed that corner, dries clear. You probably all know that. It's a really good glue. I've been dying to try the glitter glue that May uses on her channel. Just haven't purchased it yet. Okay, so that takes care of the front of this. And what do you think about that? Isn't that pretty? Now when these are up, they're going to look like this. So there's going to be some places on this side that needs work. So we're going to flip this over. Now, the first thing I want to show you is this is just a card, and it can be pulled all the way out. There can be a picture put on 4 sides if they wanted to, or they can leave it in here and just flip it up and put a picture here, here, and here. So it's completely up to the user what they want to do. And on this one, I chose these adorable polka dots. Isn't that pretty? Oh. Once you put it in the little pocket, you end up with being able to see through that. And I think that looks pretty good. And I have a tendency, and I think it's perfectly okay, if somebody's doing a lot of repetition work, but I don't want to really miss anything, then I'll go ahead and I'll hit that, I'll change the speed of the video. And I'm still watching the video, and if I like the video, I'm still going to hit like. If I like the person, I'm still going to subscribe. But every once in a while, you know, I'm just in that mood where I want to see what's next, but I want to be sure I don't miss anything, so I'll speed them up. And then if they get into something, and I'm still watching them, and I can still hear them on, if I just go to like 125. Now I think at 150 maybe, it's either too fast to hear or you quit hearing what they're saying. I can't remember which on YouTube. But I can still hear them. Of course, they sound like a little chipmunk. There's no telling what I'll sound like at that point. And on the same note, if they're doing something that I want to be sure and catch, then I may slow them down to less than 100 so that I can, if they're talking too fast, because some people do, you know. Okay, so that takes care of getting our little pockets. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. I love it. Love, love, love. Okay. I don't remember if I have something for the back of these green ones. I think I do, but when we come to it, we'll come back. How's that? So we're going to set that over here, and let's look and see what we've got going on in this one. Okay, we'll start out here. This one I decided to make a triangle pocket, and then it was, of course, I wasn't satisfied with the plainness, so I'd had a punch, and it looked like little bits of lace. And actually, this is what it looks like. And when I put it on here, I just butted it up so that all you seen was the little edge of it. So then, of course, I decided that it needed a little bit more. What do you guys think about that? Okay. Now all I did was I measured the red section, and I cut that same shape out, and then I put the paper, the yellow cardstock or golden, into the cutter, point to point diagonally, and cut it. And that gave me my pocket. And then I did the same thing for the blue, except I shaved it off like probably 1/4 of an inch maybe. And a lot of people like that little 1/8 of an inch border. And honestly, and I've seen there's a few of us out there that think this way. If I'm only going to let you see this much border on a card or something, then I tell you what, I might put it through my Cuttlebug with a die and cut the middle out of it and save it for another project. Because that's a lot of paper. Of course, you don't want to change the integrity of what you're doing. Okay, I debated on whether this should be at the top or the bottom, but then when I realized that it needed to go in my pocket and it was adding some thickness, it needed to go on the top. And so I had cut this little orange piece, a little bit of a clash with that golden color, so of course it needed something else. So I cut the little green piece to go on it. And they can open this up, they can journal in it, they can add photos to it, they can put a photo on the back, and they can even put another on the front. Again, I had to add a punch. I found a little sun. Isn't that pretty? Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is attach that. Now, I probably should do the smart thing and stretch this out, but I think I'm going to try this. A little bit of a border at the bottom, but my white border is going to cover up the top pretty well. Okay, here we go. What do you think? That looks pretty good. Uh-oh. Maybe the next one I'll open up. I may redo that one at another date. We're going to go ahead and finish it off though, because we are on video, and I'm not so sure that was the smartest way to do it. I'm sorry, guys. Like I said, I'm learning, and I love doing stuff like this so that I can make my mistakes, hopefully, on this kind of project than when I'm trying to do a big album. Now, I've already scored everything, so I'm trying, oops, I thought that would do the trick in helping me get it on there. So what do you think about that? Okay, yep. To be sure and put some extra glue if I redo that one. Okay, now, on this one, we're going to try it a little different. a little so that we have a border. Okay. I still like closing it when I'm doing that. I don't know. You guys may want to tell me what I can do, because now I've gotten that a little crooked. Is it still wet enough? I have to put some more glue on it though. Ooh. How about that? I made a mistake. Oh, how about that? No, no, not me. Okay, let's try it again. Try it again. Okay, so this time, whoops, be still, buddy. Be still, be still. Okay, guys, I may get my head in the shot. But I think that's a little better. See if I can smooth out some of those little things I created. From taking it off, putting it back. But at least it does show you that just don't sweat the small stuff. And now look at there. Oh, that's much better. That's a lot better than the other one. Okay, guys, I really, if you don't subscribe to me already, I really need you to. I have already started collecting things that I can use for giveaways. But I'm going to be like other people, and I want to wait until I can celebrate a certain number of subbies. How about that? Uh-oh, there we go. Tried to sneak a little tack in there, didn't it? There we go. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I don't know, I almost like that better. Alrighty, now this one is a treat. I wanted a waterfall. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the front. This is a repeat of the paper that was in the center of the first layer that we did. When you're doing these kind of things and you're using liquid glue, be sure you get the edges, because they will start curling up on this thin paper. But I put this paper, it was only one sheet of 12 by 12 is all it took. And I wanted to be sure that it was incorporated somewhere, I think, on every level. Okay, so this one goes here. I wanted a waterfall. And so I ended up attaching it to the blue. So it's just going to be a real small one. Of course, this is a small box, but they'll be able to do this right here. Isn't that cool? And the first cardstock I had in there, I tried to round it off. I didn't like it. I covered it up, and I really like this better anyway. And these dots and those dots really look good together. So what I want to do is get this flush with the top up here. And we are definitely using score tape. Now, score tape on this particular thing can only be used in those two places. If you put it anywhere else to put it down here, it's not going to pull. So be careful when you're putting it down. And okay. Press really well. Cross your fingers, everybody. It's my first time. Woo, look at there. I love it, love it, love it. Yay. Okay. If something happens that it doesn't work well when it's all together, then the next time I will make one in this direction. And maybe that's what I ought to do, is make this one pull out like that. I hate to, because that one's already. We're going to leave it the way I have it. Like I said, this is a learning process for me. But maybe, you know, I thought of that early on and then I forgot, and here I am doing the opposite of what I thought I should do. Okay, let me get this more in front of me so I get it equal on both sides. Okay, burnish, burnish, burnish. Okay, one of my downfalls I am finding is that I lay stuff everywhere. And then when I go to find it, it's like, I know I had it. Okay, looking pretty good. Now I did decide not to mat every single one of those. I thought it would add too much bulk, especially after pictures were put in there. So basically, that is it for that side. Now, the reason we're not doing anything in the center is because this one will be attached to the middle when we're all done. These will not be independent. But we're going to flip this over and see what we had planned for the other side. All right. I have those four. So, I think we will just do every other one. Okay, while I glue these down, I'm going to pause so you guys don't have to watch every little thing. Be right back. Okay, so I've got all of those glued down, and while I have that there, I wanted to show you something else that I had done, if I can find it. Me and my punches. I have, get them loose here. There it is. Okay. I have a punch that makes, this is so cool. Let me find something to put in it. Let's see. Oh, we'll borrow one of these tags. But basically, it is a place to put a photo like in it, to hold it in the corner. So that way things don't have to actually be glued down to the page if they don't want to. And of course, I used this little punch. And, oops, that little punch. And then I had another punch. I really liked this one. I did it on the 3 corners and then I did the other punches. I like that one a lot. Okay, so anyway, these are the backs. And we have to remember that these will be going in this direction. So, we can use these at the bottom. Okay, so you don't want to do that middle one. You do want to do this one. See where I've put the glue on that? I just want to be sure. I'm going to put on the glue. That it holds. I'm going to use this bottle and just kind of mold that in a rounding. I think that'll work. I can't really use my bone folder to, you know how we break fibers a little bit with the bone folder. But that has so many little pieces, I'm afraid that it would tear it up. And that would be bad. So there we go. Awesome. Now, like I said, they all are pocketed. So, somewhere in here, and there it is, these are for the red pockets. And what I'm going to do is put paper on the front and the back. And again, I'm going to pause the camera so you don't have to watch me glue each and every little piece of paper. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back and I have all 4 of these done. The nice thing about making them two-sided is even though the blue is the cardstock, the paper just adds strength to them, and now they're double-sided, so they can be a picture on both sides and have it matted. Now, I didn't get it perfectly straight in some places. I'm allowing myself the luxury of remembering that this is supposed to look homemade. Hopefully that will satisfy me as far as pointing out my mistakes. I love this colorful paper, so I kind of want it to pop out. Did that one have that on there? I like having the polka dot near the polka dot. That's pretty cool. And then let's put this colorful paper opposite. I may go through, I just got me We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper. So I might go through and actually chomp these corners to make them a little easier to go in. But for now, that's what they are. So on this one we have our waterfall, and we have our corner pocket with our little mini book in it that can hold 4 pictures. And then we have something to pull out here that's two-sided. And then when it stands up, we've got our little things that will hold a photo in that little thing. So actually, that one is completed. I borrowed that. I need to put it back. Okay. So we can put this one with that one. Did we get the back? Oh. Okay, we have 4 papers for the blue backs. So I need to look at this and decide I believe this is the way it goes. So that would make this the back. So these are for the back of that. And I'm just going to go through and place those on there, and I'll be back. Alrighty, I think we're back. If I've gotten messed up on whether I'm recording or not, that's going to be fun to find out. I went ahead and finished these cards that are going to be going in the blue, in a place in the blue pockets. I did finish putting the papers on the back one. So this is the front or the inside of it. Now what I want to do on this, on the 2 sides like this, is I was going to make a belly band, but I was afraid that things would just continue to fall through. I don't know why. Maybe if I made it flat and just glued it, it would be tight enough, but I gave it a little bit of a gusset sort of idea. So I decided it would be better to put it at the bottom like I did on the very first smallest one. So that's what we're going to do. Then that wasn't enough for me. I decided it needed some paper. I still wasn't extremely happy, so I decided to do that. Like I said, this will be on the 2 left and rights. Not that it really matters at this point, but I think we'll do it right there. So, first thing we're going to do, balloons, pretty balloons. Okay. Eileen Tacky Glue is really good at grabbing quick, but I have added a little bit of water to mine, so I might have to hold mine a minute or 2 more. Hi everyone, it's Myra. I'm back. Had a little camera trouble. I think I figured it out. I am learning, so please bear with me. I know I don't have my audio, video, lighting, all of that stuff just right, but I am in the process of figuring everything out. But right now, I just wanted to share the finished product. I thought you guys might not want to continue watching glue dry, so I went ahead and finished it since the camera wasn't cooperating anyway. I am using my phone for a camera. I found some confetti in my stash that looked like little balloons and streamers, so I added that. I love this paper with the streamers and everything, so I incorporated some ribbon coming out from underneath the top piece to give it more of that whimsical look, like the ribbon's just exploding out of the explosion box, right? And then I added some to the side of the box. I couldn't make up my mind, believe it or not, to use the green or the two-tone orange. So I did every other one. Right? When you can't make up your mind, do both. So here the box is. Let's open it up and take a quick look. You have been watching the whole video. Then some of the stuff will be repetition. So I'll try not to stay on those things as long. And voila! Boom! Now we have an explosion. So we open this up, and this is what you see. Isn't that pretty? I just love it. It's so exciting. So this one has 1, 2, 3 inserts and the cover. So we'll go through each insert. On the smallest insert, which is on top, the base is green. I made a pocket here. I used the same paper in the center as on the front of the top. And I also added some to the pocket front and punched a little heart out to bring the pocket color through so it didn't get lost in the whole process. We have some orange tags with a beautiful rainbow stripe behind, and the punch that I added to that with the what came out of the punch I used to go around the whole of the tag. Isn't that pretty? And I tried to use ribbon the same colors as was in the paper that we were using. So all 4 of these are the same exactly. They are the same pocket, the same tags, and the same background. And that's what it looks like. The way they were folded have a pocket. And so you're going to see that in each one of these there's going to be a double-sided mat. These mats can be used for journaling or photos or one of each, however you want to do it. It's all up to you. And for the most part, I mean, I don't know if you guys really want me to pull those out. If you watch the whole video, you really got to see the mats. Now, this paper is nice. Anytime that you are putting mats in for possible journaling, finding a pattern with lines on it is a plus because it will help the person write what they want to write. If it were me, I would use those for my main journaling just because I have some lines to look at. Okay, so then we go to the back of these, and let's see, take a sneak peek. These 2 on the next level will be the same, and these 2 will be the same. I try not to do it exactly the same everywhere. So let's look at this one. I think it'll be easier to see. When you pick it up, you have a flap here. I used a beautiful rainbow polka dot pattern that I found in one of my paper books, and I also used a corner punch there. You flip it up and you can have room for a photo here and a photo on the green. You could also put a photo in this and use that as a mat. If you really wanted to, this lifts all the way out and there's room for 2 more photos or a lot of journaling to talk about the photos that you've incorporated. So like I said, this one and this one are exactly the same. Then if we turn it around and we look at this side, same thing here, exactly. But then when you look at the next layer, you're going to see, and I'm going to go on this side for that, I incorporated a corner pocket with a matting and some paper lace, a little booklet type album. It'll hold 2 pictures, another one here and another one here if you wanted to. You could also journal in here about the other pictures that you're incorporating into the box. And again, that is exactly the same as the side. Okay. Then on this side, this is where I decided to try my hand at waterfall. And I'm going to go to the other one because these 2 are, again, the same. And I don't know if you guys remember, but I said I was kind of nervous after I had decided to put it in this direction. I thought maybe I should have put the tab on the side, one of the sides. But I didn't. I went ahead, live and learn, right? And I did discover either this one should have been bigger, or I should have made them come in the other direction, because it is getting hung right here. I may put a little washi tape here. That'll give it a little more of a slick surface. But if you put your finger there, or you don't let it go too far, the waterfall itself is working very well. It's just that one getting caught on this little crack right here. Okay, so that covers the green the green section front and back, and the red section front. Now we go to the red section back, and again, all of the red section has a photo mat, double-sided, and or journaling card. When you look at the back of the red section, it's just a photo mat on these two sides. I believe that that's going to be the same over here, yes. And when you look at the back on this side, it is still just a photo mat, but I did add a corner photo holder that works like this. So that'll work out very well for your photo. You can put a pretty large photo in there. And now we look at the final insert section, and that would be this one, the blue front. We started out with the blue cardstock. Inside here is a journaling and or photo mat, another pocket with a fancy punch and some really pretty rainbow paper, still more things in a pocket that you can do, and this one, and the blue front is exactly the same, and there are two of those. Where's the other blue one? Because the back of it also has the little corner photo holder, and that's the extra ones there. Go to the back of the blue section first. I know that's a little backwards, but all I did was a little place for photos. Then the front. This one's really exciting. Has anyone seen my squash book factory? Well, I decided to try to incorporate that in here. So I took one page and ta-da! So on this one you have a photo, a photo, a photo, 4 small photos, or if you like, you could take a photo that you were going to use here, cut it diagonally, and put it half and half. It would just depend on what was in the middle of the photo, because you don't want to cut anyone's head off, right? Or maybe you do. I don't know about you. I'm sorry. A little humor. Here we go. Then all we do is fold it back up like this. I found the best way to get it back together is to turn it upside down and drop it in its lid. Flip, and there you go. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I tried not to let it get too long and too drawn out, but I'm so happy that you decided to come to my channel and watch my video. If you've made it till the end, I really appreciate it. Hit the like button if you enjoyed what you've seen. Give me a comment. I'd love helpful hints, and I'd love to read what you have to say. And right now I have less than 100 subscribers, so I am getting back to everyone that leaves a comment. If I don't say anything but thank you, at least you'll know that I read it. Also, I have decided, because I am very new at this and I'm learning, once I get 100 subscribers, I have something to give away. So please subscribe and tell 2 friends to visit and subscribe, because I would love to just be encouraged. This is so fun, and I look forward to making more videos. So thanks again for visiting Mira's Mix. I hope you had a mixture of fun and enjoyment and learning. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them. Talk to you later. Thanks again. Bye.